I have been captain of the Bounty for over 10 years. When I first started sailing with the Bounty, my true interest was square rig sailing. Such a wonderful story. Like I say, when I started square rig sailing, it was because I like the ship. I like square rigs. But you can't be around the story very long and just find out how fascinating and how intriguing it is.
My name is Dmitry Simakin. I am from Moscow, Russia. My passion, sounds more, is the story of the mutiny of the Bounty and the Pitcairn Island history. This great story have to be told to all people. Nobody in Russia knows about Bounty and Pitcairn. When I asked, what do you think when you hear a word Bounty? All of them told me chocolate snack.
Well, Fletcher Christian, the leader of the Bounty Mutineers, he is my great-great-great-grandfather. And I'm proud to be of him. I mean, even though a mutiny was not the thing to do, he seemed to have been harshly treated, and they went looking for a place to hide when they found Pitcairn.
One of the problems that Captain Bligh had, and this is kind of a good lesson in management, is I think he was a poor manager. Everybody that came on the trip was volunteered. Nobody was told you had to go do this trip. When they got to Tahiti, the breadfruit had just germinated, meaning it was just starting to sprout. They couldn't transplant it. Captain Bligh let his crew go ashore and live basically for 5 months ashore. Any other captain in the Navy would have said, no, you're not going to live on shore. You're going to live here in this hot, steamy old ship, and you're going to stay right here and be miserable until the breadfruit is ready to be transplanted or go dormant. Captain Bligh didn't. He let them go ashore. Some of them had girlfriends, wives. They adopted the Tahitian culture quite a bit. And I truly don't believe that Bligh was the bad guy that he's been made out to be. I think he was actually probably too lenient with his crew. Yeah.
Unfortunately, they weren't very good with longitude then, and most of you probably know that the island got very nicely drawn. They sailed all the way around it, drew very nice pictures of it, but when it came time to put it on the map, they were a little bit off, which worked to the mutineers' favor when they were picking a spot as sanctuary.
Our island is so tiny, encircled by the sea. Its shoreline is so rugged, so well as you can see. But we have a like it, a home world today. And if you ever come our way, our kindness we will share.
It was a long journey. We left Pitcairn, and 4 days later we landed at Easter Island on a cruise ship. We spent 3 days in Easter Island, Then we flew to Tahiti, where we spent a few hours at the airport, and then on to Rarotonga, where we spent about 1 hour, and then on to New Zealand. We spent a little while, and then we flew from Wellington to Auckland, and then direct to Los Angeles. From Los Angeles, we flew on to Denver, and then to Texas, and then we flew to Florida, where we spent a week until just yesterday we came to where this ship is tied up.
Over 1,000 books have been written on Pitcairn. All of them, except this one, have been written to make money for the authors. This one, every copy I sell, every cent or every mark or every euro I receive goes straight to the island. I think in those days, don't forget they were young men, and Tahiti is a paradise today. If I was a young man in those days and hadn't got a wife back in England, I would have wanted to have stayed on Tahiti, and I would have been technically a mutineer, I think. I would have wanted to go there.
I'm the director of the Pitcairn Island Study Center at Pacific Union College in the San Francisco Bay Area. And our purpose is to provide information, accurate information about the Bounty saga. Pitcairn Island from 1890 was a pioneer missionary base in the Pacific Ocean for Seventh-day Adventist Christians. And so every young Seventh-day Adventist growing up in earlier days knew about Pitcairn Island. The Pitcairn people, because of their isolation, have to be everything themselves. Grow their own food, much of it. Fish to gain protein in the diet, maybe a few chickens. But anything that breaks down on Pitcairn, you've got to fix it yourself. The total of that is that Pitcairn is a work-away island. It's not a typical South Sea island at all. There are no white sandy beaches. You have to work if you're going to survive. The interrelationships of the people on the island make it very special, all of whom are related to each other.
It was a much, much harder life. Very few of them lived to be very old. Most of them died of injury or disease because of the harshness of their life. We experience a little taste of that, and we can imagine it, but we can imagine it enough to know that they were much tougher people and much, I won't say braver, because I think that was what they expected from life.
To me, this is the greatest survival story ever.